winter weather sneaking into our 4 states fall, we look at how local road crews are preparing. And trick-or-treating without all the face-to-face contact in Miami, Oklahoma.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Parts of the 4 states are getting an early taste of winter weather. This is KOAM News at 6. We go straight now to Nick Kelly.
And right on schedule, it arrived this morning. Dal, rain for some, but we did see some freezing rain, sleet, and snow in some of our northwestern counties throughout the day. Right outside our station, we're just looking at a cloudy sky. Old Glory showing the north breeze staying in place for the rest of the evening. And winter weather advisories for all of southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri until noon tomorrow. And for northeast Oklahoma, that's until 7 o'clock Tuesday evening. At least we're not dealing with any of the heavy ice storm warnings across central and western parts of Oklahoma. We're getting our first good batch of moisture to roll in this morning out of the area. We're going to eventually switch over to either light drizzle or light freezing drizzle and sleet, maybe with a few snowflakes mixed in as we go throughout the evening. But the main storm system, as long as it's still parked out to the west, we are not done with the system just yet. As far as temperatures go, we're going to see temperatures hold steady where they are right now, upper 20s to lower 30s. We'll break down what to expect for the day tomorrow, how much ice we can expect, additional ice, and more importantly, when we'll start to warm up again, coming up in a bit now.
All right, we'll see you then. Roads could become slick tonight in parts of the 4 states. That means road crews are going to be at work, and KDOT crews were getting things prepared earlier today. They say that in some ways, Mother Nature is going to dictate how they defend the roads against her.
We'll put brine down early, and that'll cover frost issues that may occur. If we know rain's coming, we're going to wait till it's completely done raining, then we're going to go out and hit the bridge right after it's done raining.
Nelson says one way you can tell if the road is icy is to watch the car ahead of you in wet conditions. If it isn't spraying any water from their rear tires, then they're driving on ice. MoDOT crews advise folks to just stay home if they can. If you must get out, take it easy.
Because this is the first storm, really, one of the first storms of the season, and if we have ice, it could be black ice, it could be any kind like that where you just don't see it until you're on it. If it's raining and they're calling for freezing rain, which they are in a lot of locations in the northern areas, you need to slow down, just take it real easy.
Trucks are already going into the northern parts of our viewing area. MoDOT says the rest of their trucks will roll when the rain starts to freeze. They'll lay down sand and salt, then if they do it too soon, they say it's going to wash away. There are plenty of ways to vote in the 2020 election on November 3rd, and one method is being utilized more than ever before. That's mail-in voting. With so few days until Election Day, our own Jesse Irwin breaks down how to vote by mail in 2 of the 4 states.
Well, there's this thing you've probably heard of. It's called mail-in voting. But how does it work? Let me walk you through it because it's still possible in some places. Let's go through the 4 states. Let's begin in Kansas. The Sunflower State requires you to apply for a mail-in ballot 7 days before the election, or in this case, October 27th. Kansas residents will need a current Kansas driver's license, a driver's license from another state, a U.S. passport, conceal and carry license, employee ID badge, or any other form of identification to receive a ballot. They can print out a ballot application at the Kansas Secretary of State's website. Residents can then mail in their ballots or turn them in at a local election office. If Kansans choose to mail in their ballot, they can track it at this URL right here. Now, if the ballot has reached its destination and the website shows a green check mark, then it's been counted. The ballots can be mailed up to 3 days after the election as long as they've been postmarked by Election Day. If a Kansas resident applied for a mail-in ballot but never got one, they can request up to 2 more by October 27th. And if someone decides that they now want to vote in person, then they can still choose to do so as long as they haven't cast their mail-in ballot vote yet. Folks in Oklahoma have until October 27th to request a mail-in ballot. To do so, they simply have to go to the State Election Board website, although they must have a form of identification to request the ballot. The mail-in ballots must be received by the County Election Board by 7 p.m. on Election Day in order to count. Now, residents can choose to turn in their mail-in ballots in person at the County Election Board, or they can mail them in. Now, if a mail-in ballot gets lost in the mail, residents can request a second one with a form filled out at the county level. Oklahomans can track their votes at this link right here. If a resident decides they'd rather vote in person, then they can still do so as long as they haven't already cast their mail-in ballot vote. In the state of Oklahoma, you want to make sure your ballot is notarized, so know where your local notary is and plan ahead. If you have any other questions or you need to clarify something, don't worry, we got you. Just head to our website, koamnewsnow.com, and we'll see you on Election Day.
This is Jesse Irwin reporting. Now, voters are coming out in record numbers more than a week before Election Day. In Jasper County, they've received more than 3,000 mail-in absentee ballots. More than 4,000 people have voted absentee in person. And in Crawford County, there's been more than 3,000 mail-in ballots cast, with around 500 people voting in person. Officials in both counties expect to far surpass the voter turnout of the 2016 presidential election. Brings us to today's KOAM News Now Insta Poll. Today's question is, how do you feel about your state's early voting opportunities? At this point, 50% say they should be expanded, 29% say they should be reduced, the rest say they're just fine. You can vote at koamnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to see them, check in on them periodically throughout this newscast. Chanute police say a man was showing off a gun that he later used to shoot into a business. This incident happened, they say, on early Friday. Police say the suspect was showing off a gun that he had tucked inside his waistband at a business on South Santa Fe. Authorities say he was asked to leave but came back later and fired at the business. No person was shot. Police arrested the suspect, but authorities have not filed formal charges. The Missouri Highway Patrol, Droop D, is reporting its 6th boating fatality this year. They say the victim was an Arma, Kansas man, Chad Boswell. The Highway Patrol says Boswell was on a boat in the Osage River that hit an object in the water. The boat filled with water and flipped, and Boswell drowned. The other 3 people on the boat, including a 5-year-old girl, survived. Still ahead, how Joplin's updated COVID-19 dashboard is providing a more in-depth look at the city's case count. And social distancing and trick-or-treating can go hand in hand as long as you get creative, like a Miami, Oklahoma woman did. Going to check back in on today's KOAM News Now Insta Poll. Again, today's question, how do you feel about your state's early voting opportunities? At this point, right around half or just over say they should be expanded. 28% say they should be reduced. The rest say they're fine as they are. You can vote at koamnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. We're going to check in on the numbers again in a bit. Joplin Health Department is reporting its 35th COVID-19 related death. They say it was a 98-year-old woman who was a resident in a Joplin long-term care facility. City of Joplin's COVID-19 dashboard now provides users with a more in-depth look at COVID-19 cases. The city partnered with the University of Missouri's All Things Missouri project for the dashboard's new look. It now provides new information, including an average of cases per day over a 7-day time frame and new graphs. That new dashboard, by the way, shows a 55% increase in COVID-19 cases in the city over the last 7 days. City leaders also provided those numbers at today's daily briefing. They also talked about safe partying on Halloween and why you might want to celebrate outdoors.
Try to encourage outside parties if we can. As I said earlier, the weather is going to be great, so outside is definitely a less risky environment than an indoor space.
There are 156 active cases of COVID-19 in Joplin. Some folks in the 4 states are getting creative with how they dole out Halloween treats this year. While some might be handing out candy as they normally would, one Miami, Oklahoma resident said she wanted to be as safe as she could when it came to distributing candy, so she turned to making a candy chute to allow for social distancing, but still getting kids their sweet treats. After seeing similar chutes on Facebook, she and her family created theirs from PVC pipes. She says it'll be a cool new way for kids to get candy and is hoping more residents will do the same thing.
We want to still have fun with Halloween and be safe, so we decided let's get that candy out there however we can.
It's a nice idea. Tonight at 10, we're going to hear from the Miami Police Department on some safety tips for Halloween. Columbus running back Gabe Martin earns Performance of the Week honors for his big game on Friday night. In our KOAM News Now Insta Poll on Friday, Martin earned 69% of the vote after scoring 6 touchdowns against Caney Valley. On the year, Martin has rushed for nearly 1,200 yards and has scored 16 total touchdowns. He and the Titans earned a district championship with their win over Caney Valley Friday night and also finished off a perfect regular season with an 8-0 record.
It means a lot. I mean, Columbus only done it, I think, 3 or 4 times in their history, so it feels good to be a part of that and be a part of something special like that.
He just ran the ball extremely hard. He runs the ball hard all season. He's seeing his cutbacks and his creases really well. He's just taking advantage of opportunities.
Columbus is going to open the playoffs on Friday night at home against Girard. A little bit later, absentee voters in Arkansas are breaking records and causing confusion. We'll explain coming up.
Plus some more winter weather to get to tonight before we start improving things over the next few days. Forecast up next. As advertised, our storm system rolled in today with rain, freezing rain, sleet, and even some snow mixing in across the entire four-state area. And we're not done with the winter weather just yet. Winter weather advisories for southeast Kansas, up most of southwest Missouri until noon tomorrow. And for northeast Oklahoma, you're going to try to hold on to the winter weather a little longer. That's why your advisory won't expire until we hit 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Looking at the latest in the Skywatch Storm Tracker, though, the radar echo suggesting maybe a few light snow flurries or very, very light snow across southeast Kansas, maybe a little freezing rain and sleet trying to mix in around Chanute. But the bulk of the heavier moisture resulting in rain is scooting to the south of I-44 now, but this is at least one positive aspect to the system. It brought rain back into the picture, rain that we need. Area-wide, 0.8 of an inch of rain, but you can see the better rain amounts pushing 1 to 2 inches along and south of I-44. This is rain that we need, and at the very least, we're going to hold on to some of these rain chances, even though we'll have to deal with the wintry weather for the next 24 hours or less, as long as the main system itself hasn't worked through yet. We're going to hold on to the system as we go throughout the middle of the week. 32 in Joplin with cloudy skies up top, maybe a little bit of light and mist, maybe a little freezing drizzle trying to mix in at times. The rest of the area, the Joplin Metro, sitting between 31 in Pittsburgh, 33 in Seneca, 34 over in Commerce, while we have Granby cold at 31. In fact, everybody's just cold. Whether you're in the upper 20s around Iola and Yates Center to the lower to middle 30s elsewhere, we've got the freezing lines dissecting the area pretty much in half. At the very least, I don't expect temperatures to budge anymore throughout the course of the evening. We'll just mainly hold in the upper 20s in the northwest, and let's say lower to maybe some middle 30s as we head toward tomorrow morning across the rest of the area. Again, we're getting one round of moisture out of here with maybe some light freezing drizzle, light mist, maybe some light sleet overnight, but the main system itself, not at the surface. We've got high pressure keeping the cold air in place, but upstairs at the jet stream level, this is where the main storm system is. Still working across eastern Utah, western Colorado until it decides to budge along. We're going to repeat today in kind of a similar fashion again for tomorrow. Again, the overall trend will be for the first wave of moisture to die out throughout the course of the night. We'll hold on to the clouds, but we'll also hold on to some chances for light drizzle, freezing drizzle, and maybe some sleet as we head toward tomorrow morning. Again, temperatures holding primarily steady, upper 20s to lower 30s. Then here comes another good round of moisture as we get past the morning drive. It may start as a mix of freezing rain and rain, but once temperatures across the area get back above freezing tomorrow, we're going to switch things over to mainly rain, and I think that will be the point that we'll be done with our wintry weather chances. So we'll start cold at 32 in the morning, 36 by noon, afternoon highs right around 39. I did want to show you how much more ice we could potentially see. Thankfully, not very much. Just to the northwest of Joplin, I think that's the best shot for an additional 10th to 1500ths of an inch of ice. And if any additional snow tries to accumulate in our northwestern counties, I think the better shot for half an inch or less, mainly northwest of Fredonia, Chanute, and Uniontown. This system, though, still not done. We got to get through the rain chances, though. That'll stick with us as we head through Wednesday and even on Thursday. But with this still on board, we may see an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain before we finally clear things out by Thursday night. But 39, cold again tomorrow, but back in the lower 50s Wednesday and Thursday, 56 Friday. We're dry for the weekend, 61 for Halloween, and we'll turn chilly after we roll back the clock on Sunday now.
We certainly need the precipitation. It just said, freezing precipitation. It seems a little early, Nick.
It is a little early for that.
All right, thanks. Hey, to be the first to know the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app, all you have to do is download it. It's available free of charge. You can find it in the Apple App Store or the KOAM Play Store. Just search for the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Still ahead, Arkansas voters are really mailing it in this year in record numbers, and that's stirring up some questions and lawsuits about how and when those votes should be counted. Amid a record early voting turnout, folks in Arkansas are having a legal argument over how and when to count all those votes. Ashley Godwin has that story.
As much of the attention as 2020 has, it's important that citizens be heard.
A lawsuit has been filed against Secretary of State John Thurston and commissioners of the State Board of Election, challenging conflicting statutes within Arkansas law. The state's election law says officials are required to count all absentee and early votes before the polls close at 7:30 p.m. Election Day. It also says they can't start counting the absentee votes until 8:30 a.m. Election Day. With record numbers for absentee and early voting this year, some are afraid the count can't be finished that quickly, and they want to make sure no ballots go unnoticed.
Even though my absentee ballot may have been in a month ago, if 7:30 comes and they haven't counted it, I, under that statute, lose my right to have my vote counted.
But Arkansas Attorney General Leslie Rutledge says that's not what the law means. In a statement to THV 11, Rutledge says every timely and validly cast absentee ballot must be counted regardless of how long that process takes. The case is in limbo right now due to arguments over whether it should be filed in state or federal court. Meanwhile, the Pulaski County Election Commission agrees your vote will be counted as long as it's in before the polls close.
If you were in line at 7:30, you're going to be able to vote no matter how long it takes for that line to be processed. And if the clerk's office received an absentee ballot by 7:30, then that ballot is going to be counted.
Again, that was Ashley Godwin reporting. A final check on the weather is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran, Sergeant Roger Hopland II. He served in the U.S. Marine Corps during Operation Iraqi Freedom. And we're proud to salute Sergeant Roger Hopland II. He's tonight's four-state hero. Checking back in now with our KOAM News Now Insta poll. Today's question: how do you feel about your state's early voting opportunities? Final numbers: 48% say they should be expanded, 31% say they should be reduced, only 21% think that they're just fine as they are. Poll is now closed. Thanks for participating, everyone. Checking back in with Nick Kelly. You're going to have to be careful if you're out and about tonight because there's a possibility some roads could be getting slick.
Yeah, with winter weather advisory still in effect now, we'll expect some light drizzle, freezing drizzle, additionally a little bit of sleet throughout the course of the night. Before we switch things over to mainly rain once we get warm enough for tomorrow. Highs back near 39 eventually. Let's go 52 on Wednesday and lower 50s again on Thursday, with the system still giving us rain and thunderstorm chances. Then when we finally hit Friday heading into the weekend, not only do we clear out, we'll warm back up as well.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, reminder to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports. You can download the KOAM News app, just like that weather app we told you about. This news app, it's free. It's in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. All you have to do is search for KOAM News app. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.